Let's speak about Workhorse, baby. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. Look, I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're speaking about our favorite company. We're speaking about Workhorse. And some pretty crazy stuff has happened over the last few days. So obviously yesterday was Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of the American followers. Hope you all had an absolutely beautiful day. Hope it was enjoyable. You had some nice food. So not too much happened in the market yesterday, but Wednesday. Ooh, look at this.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
What is that? So that is one of the big things I want to speak about today, because there was some insane price action and some really important levels were touched off. You already know we're going to speak about the price action. What else are we going to speak about? Well, we're going to speak about the institutional ownership, because as of right now, Fintel is saying that it's at 87.26%, which is about 40% more than it was literally 2 days ago. Do I believe this number? No! Yahoo Finance tells us about 33%. I think it's somewhere in the realms of 40 to 45%. There is lots of conflicting information on different websites, but no, institutional ownership is not 87%. But we gotta speak about institutions, because on Wednesday, this happened. More than 20% of Workhorse's market cap was wiped out in less than 30 minutes before a very prompt recovery. I also want to speak about just a few articles that have come out lately, but this and institutions are the main things I want to speak about today. So my friends, right before we get into the video, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Why not? It's free. Drop me a comment down below. What are you thinking about Workhorse right now? Are you a swing trader? Are you a long-term investor? Are you just waiting for the usps contract? And please, my friend, if you are new around here, what are you waiting for? Hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family of investors. We're nearly at 60,000 beautiful money-making machines. Also, if you're interested, hit the first link in the description. Sign up to my Patreon. You get full access to my private Discord group, baby. All of my buy and sell alerts, over 40 private channels, over 500 investors to speak to every single day. But Patreon does charge the first of every month, so maybe you want to wait a few days. And if you want 4 free stocks, okay, valued up to $3,700. What? Hit that second link in the description, sign up to Webull, deposit $100. It's that simple. Webull just keep coming up with better options. But anyway, my friends, let's get into this. So this is the first thing I want to speak about, okay? The chart. We're on the 4-hour chart right now. I'm gonna have to bring myself over to this side of the screen. That is weird. I'm never over here. But look what happened. Look what price point we hit. On the dot, pretty much $30 a share. Like, to a T. Now in the same 4-hour period, we came all the way down to about $24.50 a share, nearly 20% of the company's market cap gone in 4 hours. But it actually wasn't 4 hours, as you will see here. It was more like 30 minutes. Now I'm just going to tell you guys, any company in the world, penny stocks aside, losing 20% of their market cap in 30 minutes is not normal whatsoever. On this channel, I know I speak about gaps a lot. I speak about market manipulation. I speak about, big money taking the small guys' money. And a lot of people think I'm crazy. They think I got my tinfoil hat on. But that is the way the stock market works. What was this? This was a stop loss run. The big money made people sell. Everybody who had stop losses set, sold. People who were trading on margin, sold. They forced people to sell an awful lot of shares, my friends. Now, who did this? We don't know yet, but we will find out. The thing about institutions and institutional ownership is it's not like they buy a stock and the exact same day they have to file with the SEC, or they sell a stock the exact same day they have to file with the SEC. It can take a little while for us to find out that information. So we don't know who is behind this yet, but we're going to find out. So the next thing I want to speak about, this dark blue line I have written out here, represented a gap that was created here, the 12th to the 13th of October, a down gap that we said, is going to have to be filled at some stage. But look what happened. Right when we got to that gap, we actually gapped above the exact same area of interest, and then we went up again. So now it had to be filled twice. So what did the institutions do? They said, you know what? Let's fill the gaps and take loads of people's monies all at once. And in the span of 30 minutes, they brought it from $30 all the way down to about $24.50. And what happened just as quick? It shot back up, my friends. Gotta bring my face over here again to show you guys. But look, we closed that day at about $28.80 after being down at $24.50. That is not normal. This was big money making you sell your shares so that they could buy them for a cheaper price. So people were going crazy because Workhorse stock crashed, but it really didn't. And people are still going pretty crazy saying that Workhorse stock is crashing It hasn't. 23rd of November, we open at 26.61. We are well above there. Fact of the matter is, guys, Workhorse is still in a very strong upward trend. So now the gaps have been filled. That's very interesting. No gaps that we have to worry about right now. We're still trading above our trend lines, okay? We nearly touched off the trend line even with this big sell-off. There's a lot of bullish momentum, the MACD is telling us, and we're well above the 50-day moving average. So what is next to come? That's very difficult to know. A lot of people may be buying in anticipation of the USPS contract. The most up-to-date information we have is still that it's going to be announced by the end of the calendar year. One thing I want to say, guys, that doesn't mean it's guaranteed, it's expected, it's what we've been told. It does not have to happen. But obviously that only represents another 4 weeks or so, and you would assume it would come before Christmas, so potentially less than 4 weeks. So maybe a lot of people are getting FOMO, maybe a lot of people are worried about missing out. They just want to get in now and be safe. A lot of people are asking me what I think is going to happen, and I've been saying, guys, I don't really care at this stage, okay? I am long-term on Workhorse as a company. I am not short-term in Workhorse for a contract. Let me say it again. I am long-term in Workhorse as a company. So it doesn't really matter when the USPS contract's announced. Look, a time is going to come where it's announced, okay? It could be today. It could be tomorrow, okay? It could be in 3 months. It's going to be announced. If you're a long-term investor, doesn't matter. If you're a swing trader, you're going to be able to make money either way whenever it happens. It really doesn't matter. Now what I want to speak about, guys, some absolute insanity, okay? So Fintel, which genuinely is a really good website and a really good place to find out about institutional ownership, is saying that the institutional shares stand at 87.26%. Now, just to be honest, guys, this isn't true. Yahoo Finance says it's somewhere closer to the realms of 33%. Only a couple of days ago, Fintel was saying it's about 40-something%. I think that's more realistic. I think institutional ownership is probably around the 40% mark. Now, obviously, when I saw this candle happen here, this institutional candle that made a lot of people's stop losses and margins trigger, I wanted to see, you know, maybe for some reason it's already been registered with the SEC and we can find out who it is. So I come over to the institutional page, right? Everyone's buying. There is so many people buying, okay? The first sell I found was this Bay Colony Advisor Group. They sold out the entirety of their position. I went and looked into it. They only had about 10,000 shares, okay? So it most certainly was not these guys. And then the other sells were all the way back from the 16th of November, so they had nothing to do with it either. But look at all these buys, my friends. We're starting to see a lot of indexes buying a lot more. Look, there's an index, 150,000 shares. The Russell 2000 Value ETF, 820,000 shares of Workhorse. The Value ETF? iShares Micro Cap ETF, 230,000 shares. Look, Russell 2000 ETF, 1.9 million shares. And then there are loads, you know, of smaller ones, a few 100,000 here. There is so much institutional buying right now. It's insane. Do they know something we don't? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out because this is nuts. And if you've been keeping up to date with Workhorse or my channel, you know that there's been so many big institutions buying as of late. And I mean, so many, but it just seems like every passing day, there is more. Like, so many more. It's actually insane. Do these guys know something? Like, is the USPS contract coming soon? Is something else coming soon? I don't see why they would be buying so heavily at current prices if they weren't doing so a while ago. Now, I know Workhorse's fundamentals have gotten better. People will argue that, but they have gotten better over the last 6 months or so. But have they gotten this much better for all of these institutions to be looking to buy? I really don't know. I think this is odd, but I'm happy about it. Now, the other thing to know about institutional ownership is they can do things like this, okay? They can manipulate the share price at the snap of a finger. So if you are trading on margin, perhaps you're on CFD, or if you have option plays, or if you are day trading, they can make life very tough for you. But if you're a long-term investor, they can do the same. They can cause the stock price to go up or down if they wish. In general though, I do like seeing a considerable amount of institutional ownership. I know a lot of people don't, but I personally do. Especially if we're looking at a company like Workhorse, okay, at, you know, a young stage of their life cycle. Hopefully these guys are just investing in the growth the exact same way me or you are. Now in regards to what I think is going to happen to the share price next, guys, I don't even know. It's become relatively impossible to predict these things with these EV stocks as of late. It's just been insane. There is a lot of EV hype out there right now. There is a lot of people buying every single EV stock. I've spoke about this a couple of times lately. There's a lot of FOMO. There's a lot of upwards movement. Whenever that changes, I think we can realistically maybe start looking towards these trend lines here. But who knows when that's going to happen. I'm not trying to time that. Long term, baby. Next thing I want to speak about, there's an article here from NASDAQ which I thought was quite interesting. Slowly accumulate Workhorse stock on the rebound. Now, again, What rebound? The rebound lasted 15 minutes, but anyway. We're less than 10% from all-time highs, but anyway. But these guys put it really simply. Essentially, they talk about the volatility, okay? Midday November 20th, the bulls are delighted, Workhorse went up 20%. Just as easily, Workhorse can shed 10% or more on any given day. If you've been in Workhorse for a few months, as I have been, this is normal. This happens. I think that's why it's not necessarily a bad idea to dollar cost average with this company. Trying to time this one can be tough, especially if you didn't get a lot, you know, back when you were in the 14s and 15s for a long time. Timing it could be tough. But essentially they're speaking about a few things that came out from Q3 that we've covered on this channel an awful lot. Workhorse admitted that its vehicle production had been profoundly impacted by the Roni. We got our new production targets for next year, etc, etc. There's some good and some bad. There's some uncertainty. There's a lot of bullish momentum. We got the big order from Pritchard, 500 vehicles. That, you know, as Ryan Pritchard said himself, they plan on ordering a whole lot more. That's not private information. He literally wrote to Steve Schrader before I interviewed him for a third time and said that Pritchard will be ordering more vehicles. When we look at Workhorse, okay, a lot of us do look at the stock, the ticker symbol, an awful lot. We look at the news when it happens, but then we kind of brush it to the side. Just remember how much has come out about this company in the last 6 months, my friends. Bring it back to Hitachi. I mean, remember how excited we all were over that. And look, they're already doing bits. Now think of Pritchard. Think of the other two companies that got orders from in Q3. Our updated production targets and the bad things like not hitting our production targets. A lot has happened. So DCA with Workhorse can be an okay strategy. Now the reason I want to show you guys this one, okay, why Workhorse shares dropped today, and that was obviously in regards to this institutional candle. I'm not even going to go through it, but I just want to bring it up as an example of why you should always form your own thoughts and opinions and not just blindly believe everything you hear from me or you read online. They essentially put this down to the Q3 orders. Look guys, no doubt in my mind this is an institution. This has nothing to do with Q3. This was not a delayed Q3 reaction. This was big money wanting to get rid of some of your shares so they could buy cheaper. So again guys, just, you know, always form your own thoughts and opinions. And then there's this article that's been circulating quite a bit lately. Postal delay adds to problems at Workhorse. Now I don't think this is the fact whatsoever, as I briefly said earlier on in the video. I don't think the uncertainty of the USPS contract is a very bad thing at all as of right now. I understand people's concerns of, you know, Workhorse being able to take on a big portion of the USPS contract. That's fair. But just the delay of the contract in itself, I don't think is a big deal. It's going to come at some stage. It does not matter what we want to happen. We have zero, absolutely zero influence. There is so much going on in the world right now. Yeah, it could be delayed another few months. But at the end of the day, USPS needs new vehicles. They're literally bursting into flames. It is going to come, my friends. So let's just remember that. Now we can speak about the ability to produce the vehicles, etc., especially when we only have 1,800 as our target for next year. I think they'll be able to handle quite a large portion of the contract personally. It's not like they have to make all of the vehicles in one day. They are going to receive financing from the USPS, which would obviously make things a whole lot easier. I'm not worried about that. They also have Lordstown Motors. Steve Burns, the CEO, came onto my channel and told us that they would help Workhorse if needed. So essentially I'm not worried about the production capabilities, but again guys, just I'm not worried about the delay either. But guys, that really is what I wanted to cover. The main thing was this candle here. There's not any more really big new news that I haven't covered on the channel here before. If you want more Workhorse information, I have literally 200 billion videos on it at this stage. I'm feeling good though, you know. I'm going to be happy if there's a pullback, I'm not going to lie. I think we're due for a pullback. I think the entire EV market is due for a pullback. Last week was disgusting. I made so much money, it felt dirty. I said that in my last video. That's not how the market should work. Wasn't even playing options or day trading. This was just normal common stocks and it was disgusting. We're going to have to wait and see what happens though. In the pre-market right now, we're down a little bit. We have been up a little bit. We've been down a whole lot more. Not gonna know what happens until the market actually opens. But anyway, my friends, that was it for Friday's juicy little Workhorse update video. I'm sorry that I'm not giving as precise predictions in regards to this chart as I normally do, but I just think it's really hard to call right now. The market's doing its own thing. If you enjoyed today's video, maybe took some value, some insight, please consider hitting that like button, drop me a comment down below, and of course subscribe if you're new around here, my friends. If you are interested in joining the Patreon, that's the first link in the description, but remember, they charge the first of every month, so maybe wait a few days. And if you want 4 free stocks valued up to $3,700, which is absolutely insane to even be saying, hit the second link in the description, sign up to Webull, deposit $100. That's simple, baby. Anyway, friends, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for another video very soon. Peace.